Welcome to another episode of The Review Lounge. On this episode, we are reviewing the Take Two. Welcome to another episode of The Review Lounge. I'm Jay.
I'm Jen.
And on this episode, we are reviewing the Netflix film Close.
Close.
Is it close or close?
I don't want to
It's
work.
C-L-O-S-E. You make the call.
Either.
Yeah, I thought it was close, but apparently
Close,
it could be
close.
close.
I think close.
Close.
Close is probably
Okay, and it stars
my girl Noomi.
Noomi Rapace. Noomi Rapace. And why don't you give us a breakdown of the
I think we have
the story.
a newcomer, Sophie Nelisse.
Sophie Nelisse.
And we have a Game of Thrones veteran
Yes.
also as a co-star.
Yes.
Indira
Varma.
Varma.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Yeah, it was nice. It was nice seeing Oberyn's woman in a film again. I was like, there it is, she is. But so why don't you give us a rundown, a short synopsis of what the story's about?
Short synopsis. The movie takes place in Morocco, and it's about this woman who's a
bodyguard.
private bodyguard. She's also a counter-terrorist expert.
Right.
And the beginning of the movie just starts to show you her what she can do.
Right.
And she gets hired on to be a personal bodyguard of this little
Rich girl
heiress, whose daddy, recently deceased, is a billionaire who owns phosphate mines in Zambia. And long story short, daddy leaves everything. Spoilers. There are spoilers in this review.
This isn't a spoiler, everyone. Yes, we will talk about specific plot points, but this isn't like Avengers Endgame.
Story. This is like the synopsis you'd see before you watch a movie. It's not really giving anything away.
Yeah.
This is the base.
Okay.
But the daddy leaves the mines to her.
And Mommy doesn't like it.
Stepmommy doesn't like it. She's pissed, and They now that she's a billionairess. I'm sorry, I didn't cut you off, baby. Go ahead.
That's all right.
Well, you told me to give the.
Yes.
Okay. Kidnapping. She's worth billions.
Right.
And an attempt goes awry, and that's where the movie basically begins.
What'd you think? I had my issues with this one.
I had a few, but like we were discussing it earlier, there were some things that you were just like, the fuck? And I'm just like, I'm like picking it up right away because I'm a mom. I have two.
Because apparently
and
there's a vagina sense.
There is. It was out.
Yes. Wait, what's that? My vagina sensors are tingling. No, just get off the subwoofer.
No, it's some things I picked up.
Right.
Quickly.
So, like you were saying, you have Noomi plays this bodyguard who's hired to protect this newly acquired billionaireess.
Heiress. Yeah.
And whose stepmother is played by Indira Varma. Mm-hmm. Isn't too happy about her being left all these shares of the company and so forth. And so eventually there's an attempt on Zoe, and which is the heiress, the daughter,
the girl.
There's an attempt on her, which of course Noomi has to foil, and then they wind up out on their own, separated from any sort of help, and then how are they going to get back and uncover the plot as to who's trying to take this girl out, and so on and so forth. Basically, if you've ever seen a Jason Statham movie or a Bourne movie, you've seen this movie. It borrows heavily from. It's your typical. It is your typical hired bodyguard comes in to protect somebody who, at the beginning of the film, you're kind of like unsure if this person's worthy of being protected because they're kind of a douchebag. But then they kind of grow on you, and you see the softer side, and the two of them bond. And as they're fighting this plot to do damage to them, or kidnap them, or hurt them, or whatever, and stuff, and and then it was very predictable.
Okay.
I felt like Nostradamus watching that movie because I was like, I know where this is going.
Well, like we discussed earlier, I think you picked out a lot of the nitty-gritty details of things that were wrong or whatever as a filmmaker, as opposed to just watching it as a person off the street. Well, I mean, watching a movie.
We're here to do a review, so I'm going to give the good, the bad, and the ugly. Yeah. The good of it. Some of the action sequences were good. There was a couple of shots where I thought the cinematography was really great. So there was not a lot, but there was like one or two really, 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 really nicely presented shots where it just looked pretty.
The country itself is beautiful.
But for the most part, if you've seen like The Hurt Locker or any of those movies set in the modern day Middle East and stuff like that, you kind of got the overall vibe of this film, because that's where 90% of it takes place. Them like renting a hotel room and to stay out of sight and stuff like that, and Marrakesh and stuff like that, and it just didn't seem different enough. It felt formulaic. That's the word I'm looking for. It felt very formulaic in its presentation. Like I said, cinematography was good. Do I fault the actors in any way? No, I do not. I think the actors did really good with what they were given. Mm-hmm. Do I think it was written well? For the most part, I mean, for what it was. Like I said, being a very formulaic type film, it was written okay. It was written what you would expect from a film like that.
You almost get the sense that they tried a little too hard.
Yes,
This particular film was based loosely off of the life of an actual female bodyguard named Jackie Davis. I don't know anything else about her other than, this was, like I said, loosely based on some of her experiences. Right. So in essence, that part of it is rather impressive if that's the case.
Yeah, no, and don't get me wrong. If this is based on a real woman, that real woman was total badass.
Definitely.
But just as the film itself, it just seemed like they had a checklist of, okay, we need this modern day action thriller type, quasi-spyish, but not really spyish sort of movie set in the Middle East. Mm-hmm. And they had a checklist and they just went off, because you had the obligatory, okay, we're hiding out in the hotel, but somebody recognizes us, and, we look out the window and you see the bad guys pull up, and it's like, quick, get your things, and, we got to fight our way. There was nothing new. That's why I'm saying, if you've seen any of the Bourne movies, any of the Jason Statham action movies.
Kind of feel in some respects.
Yes, and like I said, for that type of film, it was good. It was okay, but it was nothing special. No. That's where I felt kind of like, and some of it, like you said earlier, did seem a little forced. There were a couple of things that really jumped out at me watching it, like immediately jumped out at me. One of them is the opening credits.
You had a thing with those credits.
Well, because they were pretty. Don't get me.
I love the song.
The opening credits, it has this song, modern song. It's very new agey, sort of.
It's a remake of. I'll post it. We'll post it. What it is. It's a really.
The song itself was fine, but the imagery was this sort of kaleidoscope with colors and bursts of and it just seemed like it had nothing to do with the rest of the movie. The rest of the movie's color palette being as it's in Morocco and you know, Tangiers and all that, had a very earth tone color palette to the rest of the film. And yet the opening credits were this very vibrant greens and
kaleidoscopes,
neon yellows and stuff like, and it was kind of jarring, you know, because they start off with the action scene of Noomi's character, you know, Sam. It's like this 3 or 4 minute action scene in the Middle East, and there's gunfights and stuff, and it's done to establish the character.
Correct.
And that was fine. Then they do this credits where it's this very trippy, kaleidoscopic, vibrant colored thing with this, you know, modern quasi techno synth ambient, you know, song going on. And then they go right back into the movie, which is again this very earth tone drab. So it was kind of like, whoa. You know, it was like, hey, enjoy this opening credits because it's the last time you're going to see any vibrant colors till the end of this movie. Yeah, you know, that's how I felt. Okay. So that jumped out at me immediately. It sort of made me sit there and go, what the hell was that about? You know? And the other thing was sort of the plot point twist, if you want to call it, at the end, because it's not really a twist. At one point, you throughout 3/4 of the movie, they have you thinking a certain person is behind the bad guy's actions.
Correct.
And then 3/4 of the way, they just flip it, and you find that it's this other character who literally, prior to that moment, has shown up in one 30-second scene. And you find out, no, they're the real bad guy behind all these issues. And I just thought it was trying too hard to have that aha twist moment. You know what I mean? It just seemed like there was no setup for it or anything. It was just kind of like, yeah, you think it's this person, you think it's this person. Okay, we got like 15 minutes left in the movie. Psych, it's not that person, it's this person. And you're like, oh, wait, we saw that guy for 30 seconds, maybe a half hour ago. You know, so that, you know, it just seemed like they were trying too hard. Okay. But continue with your thoughts on the thing.
On the thing?
Yeah, on the movie.
Well, that pretty much summed it up.
Oh. All right, well, thanks for watching. No, I'm kidding. No, there was more things you wanted to talk about.
No, I didn't want to spoil it outright. I was just going to give, you know, some information on the film as a whole. I agree with some of the points you did. Like I said, I felt that some of the parts of the movie were forced. A little too much. The credits thing didn't bother me at all. In fact, I thought they were kind of cool. And I love that song, but I can't for the life of me remember. Yeah,
don't get me wrong. They did look cool.
We'll play it. When we play the episode, maybe a little snippet.
We'll play a snippet because legally we can't play the whole thing because YouTube will bring the hammer down.
It's a snippet, and then
they'll flag.
We'll tell you what the song is. How about that?
Well, we could put the title, and we could even put a link if somebody else has it posted.
We'll
but we can't play it. We can just play a little snippet.
It's there. But it just some of the little things that I liked about the film is that it was kind of a little bit of a role reversal. You know, you think the bodyguard who works in that region, you know, the counter-terror specialists and everything, would know a little bit more about the region, but it's actually the kid who reads and speaks Arabic.
Yes, because of having gone there all the time.
Sam has no clue what they're saying. So she's always asking the kid, well, what did they say? You know, what does this say? I can't read it.
Yes. Well, again, that goes back to what I was saying. It was well written.
Yeah.
It was just very formulaic, even though it was well written.
Yeah.
You know, little things like that. Were really, really done well. The fact that you have this main character who's this like sort of anti-terrorist, you know, sort of agent person, and you know, they're in a region and they don't know the language. You know, that was a nice little twist on things. You know, showing that the agent didn't have all the answers.
Right.
You know, so
and one thing that I did also like is that they kept on par with situations that happen in that region very frequently. Come to find out, you know, the high valued ransoms and things like that. And one of the things that she did point out to Zoe in the film was when they actually caught them at one point. And Sam was like telling Zoe, whatever you do, don't let them get you in the car.
Yeah.
Because if you get in the car, you're done.
Yeah.
They will never see you again.
Yeah, sure.
You need to fight back. You need to do what you have to do. And those are the kinds of things that I liked. They were true. They made the characters more believable.
Right. Like I said, I'm not criticizing the writing.
No.
I'm criticizing, I don't even know, not so much the genre, but just, like I said, the formula, the overall, the overarching thing. Just very formulaic, in my opinion. Like I said, I was predicting things, 5 steps ahead.
Yeah.
Not because I knew any better or I'm some, genius or anything like that, but simply because I'd seen movies like this before.
Right.
What did Rotten Tomatoes say about this one?
Well, I got this off of Rotten Tomatoes, and it said it's reported an approval rating of 39%, and that was based on 31 reviews. Not a lot. With a weighted average of about 5.3 out of 10. So it's about halfy. And then it says the consensus of the movie was, quote, "Close puts a welcome female-fronted spin on the prototypical action thriller. Unfortunately, the rest of the movie's ingredients are, as you say, tediously predictable." End quote.
Now, I don't like Rotten Tomatoes. I think Rotten Tomatoes is full of shit. To be honest,
most of the time they are.
They are.
Sometimes they get
changing your whole rating system because you don't like the criticism people are lobbing towards a film.
Yeah.
So you change your entire system. That's
shiesty.
That's very shiesty. Yeah. Having said that, this is probably one of the few times I'm kind of in agreement with them. Yeah. Although I do love how the fact that they point out that in this one the bodyguard's got a vagina, so that's a good thing. And I'm like. I don't,
And that's the other thing. I mean, it doesn't necessarily, and I'm not a feminist by any stretch, but every once in a while it's good to see a female play.
Yes.
A character like this, because you have Kevin Costner in The Bodyguard. You have, give me some Bodyguard movies.
My Bodyguard.
What?
My Bodyguard from the 80s.
Oh my God.
You asked for Bodyguard movie.
Just
no, I know what you're saying.
Scenarios where
yes.
you have the macho guy defending the woman.
Right. Well, and don't get me wrong.
A child.
None of my criticism is because the main character was a woman. I thought Noomi pulled it off really good. I honestly did not.
Noomi.
I didn't care that the lead character was a woman. I thought it was shown very good, and I liked that they didn't beat you over the head with the fact hey, check out our hero. She's a chick.
Right.
You know what I mean? They were just hey, she's doing her job. I didn't bring it up
for that reason. I just like the fact that it was a woman who played this incredibly difficult position.
Yes, and I agree with that. I take issue with Rotten Tomatoes because they're like, yeah, we didn't really kind of like the movie and stuff. But the lead character's got a vagina, so we like that. But the rest of the movie sucked. That's what it's based on what they're saying.
I know.
And like I said, I don't buy into all of that. Was her character good? Yes. Was the actress Noomi playing her doing a really good job? Yes. Quite honestly, her gender never entered my mind watching this whole movie. No. Watching this whole movie, I didn't even pay attention to it.
She pulled it off like that.
Yeah. So, but I agree with Rotten Tomatoes in that, it's very formulaic, and it was, in my opinion, tediously predictable, the words that they used. I would agree with that. So, I mean, overall, on a scale of 1 to 10, I'd give this one a 6. And I think what's pulling it from a 4.5 up to a 6 is Noomi's acting, her performance in it. I think pulls it up from being a 4.5 and drags it kicking and screaming up to a 6. That's just my take. Your take?
I'll say 6.5.
6.5? All right.
I'd say 6.5.
So there you go. 6 and 6.5. So it's on Netflix. So if you have Netflix and you got, and it's an hour and 34 minutes. I made note of that when I was watching it. If you got an hour and 34 minutes to kill, it's on Netflix and you have an account. Check it out. It's not the worst movie out there.
Yeah, it's not bad.
Not a horrible film.
It's a good waste of an hour and a half.
Yeah, but
I think you'd enjoy it.
If you could go outside and play catch with the kid, do that. I'm kidding.
It's really not.
No, I am. No, like I said, if you have an hour and a half to kill and you got a Netflix account, you know, could you do worse? Yes. You know, so yeah.
You could.
Yeah. It's not, like I said, not the worst movie I've seen. So having said that, we're going to come to the close of this episode, but we wanted to point out we're going to have a very special episode coming up next week. Because next week's episode is going to be Stranger Things Season 3 premiere.
That's next week?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Stranger Things Season 3 premieres
That came up quick.
this Thursday.
Yeah.
This coming Thursday. So,
4th of July night? Really?
well, whatever. Yeah, Stranger Things.
Yes.
Yes, next week. So we'll be
I'm
doing.
looking forward to it.
Yes. Why?
Bobby.
That's why. I was waiting for that. That I was waiting for. We getting some Millie Bobby.
It's a Millie Bobby.
Look, Millie Bobby. That's it.
New Millie Bobby.
New Millie Bobby. It's the M for Millie Bobby. So yeah. So that'll be next week's episode. Probably one of the few times I know what actually the next episode's gonna be.
That's why I was like,
Yes. So yeah, we'll be tackling Stranger Things Season 3 premiere on the next episode.
Yes.
So yeah, we hope you enjoyed, and remember to subscribe, like, comment, check us out on Facebook, hit us
All
up on
below.
Twitter, or send us an email, and
Yes.
we will be talking to y'all soon.